Hey everybody, Steph Davis here from flipthiswholesaler.net, where I teach you to make more money, flip more houses, and kick more ass. Happy Friday, everybody. I've got a brand new Q&A Friday video for you guys today. And my question this week comes from Abby. And Abby writes, "Hey Steph, just got my first property under contract and I'm currently marketing it for an end buyer. I have an interested party, but he wants to see the original purchase and sale contract before he signs the assignment agreement. I'm afraid that once he sees how much I'm making, he'll change his mind. Is it normal for end buyers to want to see the contract? Also, how many days should I let him have for an inspection period? He's asking for 7. Any help would be appreciated. Thank you, Abby." All right, Abby. Well, first of all, congratulations on getting that property under contract. That is awesome. As far as your end buyer wanting to see the original purchase and sale contract, that is nothing out of the ordinary. Basically, when you are assigning, when you're doing an assignment of contract, when you're assigning a contract to your end buyer, they're basically stepping into your shoes in that original purchase and sale contract that you have with the seller. Okay, so they are now going to be the buyer in that contract. They're taking over, stepping into your shoes as the buyer. So that means that all of the terms and conditions in that original purchase and sale contract, those are going to apply to them. So, if they're going to be taking over essentially that purchase and sale contract, then they're going to want to see what the terms are in that contract. So, yes, that's something that happens. Now, if you're concerned about them seeing the purchase price, what you could do is just, block it out, white it out if you wanted to, or, put something over it, make a copy of it, and send it to them so they can't see the purchase price. But they're going to be able to find out what your purchase price is with the seller anyway. Once all of the paperwork goes to the title company, they could just call the title company up and ask for a copy of it. So if that's what you're concerned with, they can find out anyway once you have signed all of the paperwork, and it all goes to the title company. So one way to circumvent that, if you, going forward, if you are concerned with your buyers finding out how much you're making, instead of doing an assignment of contract, you could do a double closing. So instead of just assigning the contract over to them and then they step in your shoes as the buyer and close on the deal, and there's just one closing, what you could do instead is execute a brand new purchase and sale contract with your end buyer. Okay, so you're going to have a purchase and sale contract with the seller, you buying it from the seller, and then a separate purchase and sale contract with your end buyer, with you selling it to your end buyer. Okay, that way there's no assignment contract that clearly states what your assignment fee is, and they're not going to know, they wouldn't be able to find out until after closing how much you made on the deal. The only thing to keep in mind with that, if you do a double closing, since there are 2 closings, there's going to be 2 sets of closing costs, so that could get a little more expensive for you, and you're also going to have to borrow the money to close on that A to B transaction. Okay, you're going to be buying it from the seller and then turning right around and reselling to your end buyer. So you're going to need the cash to purchase it from the seller. Now, what you could do is borrow the money from a transactional lender. What a transactional lender will do is they will lend you the entire purchase price. Okay, so they cover all closing costs, the entire purchase price. They'll lend you the money. There are no credit qualifications, no income verifications, nothing like that. The only stipulation that they have, the only way that they will lend you the money, a transactional lender, is if you have an end buyer lined up and under contract. Okay, so that's one option, or another option that you could do if you're concerned, going forward with your end buyers finding out how much you're making, is to do a double closing. However, like I said, there's going to be 2 closings. Obviously, it's called a double closing. There's going to be 2 sets of closing costs, and then also, if you're going to be using transactional lender to fund that A to B sale when you're buying it from the seller, that costs money as well. So you would have to figure those costs into when you're making your offer. You're going to have to take into account those costs. So But as far as, you know, the end buyer wanting to see the contract, like I said, if you're assigning your purchase and sale contract to them, if you're just doing a regular assignment, they're stepping into your shoes as the buyer, so they're going to want to see what they're getting themselves into. All right, so, but like I said, if you wanted to, you could just white out the or black out the purchase price and send them that contract so they can see all the terms in it. You could do it that way. As far as the them wanting an inspection period, when you're wholesaling, how many days to give them? 0. I do not ever let my end buyers have an inspection period. They know this, you know, when I'm marketing the deal, when I'm talking to my end buyers, and most investors who buy from wholesalers, they know that that's just the way that it is. They're buying it as is, no contingencies, non-refundable earnest money deposit. I recommend $2,000 at least. So, you know, if you start letting your end buyers put inspection contingencies or any type of contingencies when they're, you know, when you're assigning your contract to them, you're going to have people backing out of the deal at the last minute, and you're going to get stuck. So I would highly recommend that you just let them know up front, look, you know, you need to do your inspections ahead of time before we sign the contract. This is as is, no contingencies, and I need a non-refundable earnest money deposit of $2,000 or more. So that's my advice. If you have any further questions, feel free to leave them below in the comment section. For those of you who are watching this on YouTube, I do have comments disabled on YouTube. If you'd like to leave a comment, you can do so over on my blog at flipthiswholesaler.net. That's all I have for today. You guys have a fabulous weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.